Ziks, the touch of strength and the heart of love. In the lively town of Eldoria, where markets buzzed with chatter and the sun seemed to shine a little brighter, there lived a young man named Ziks. His name was legendary, handed down from an ancient hero who had once saved kingdoms. But the reality? Ziks was a regular guy armed with nothing but big dreams and an even bigger heart. Ziks worked as a laborer by day and dreamed of changing the world by night. He wasn't rich, famous, or even particularly strong, but he was relentless. One day, he often told himself, I'll do something that matters. His neighbors would laugh, calling him the dreamer with calloused hands. Little did they know, the cosmos had plans for him. One starry night, as Zeeks wandered through the forest, wondering how he could ever make a difference, a blinding light exploded in front of him. It was so bright that Zeeks tripped over a root and landed flat on his back. Get up, mortal, a voice boomed. Yeah, sure, give me a second, Zeeks muttered, scrambling to his feet. Standing before him was Arion, a divine being who looked like he moonlighted as a celestial gym trainer. Zeeks, Arion announced, your heart has been heard. You will be the world's guardian. Me? Guardian? Have you seen my biceps? They're not guardian material. Arion smirked. You won't need biceps. I'm giving you the power to strengthen anything you touch. Use it wisely. Humanity needs you. And just like that, the glowing god zapped Zix's hands. They tingled like they'd fallen asleep, but when Zix touched a brittle branch nearby, it turned into solid steel. Whoa, Zix whispered, eyes wide. Does this work on pizza? Asking for a friend? Arion didn't answer. He just vanished, leaving Zeke standing in the forest with hands that could now change the world. The next morning, Zeke's newfound powers got their first test. A flood was ravaging the city of Iridia, sweeping away homes and bridges like they were paper boats. People were panicked, stranded on rooftops, crying for help. Zeke's rushed in. At first, people looked at him like he was insane. What could one man do against an entire flood? But when Zeke's touched a crumbling dam and reinforced it with a single touch, the crowd gasped. Is that guy glowing? Someone shouted. Who cares? He just stopped the flood. Zeeks didn't stop there. He reinforced bridges, stabilized houses, and even turned a few flimsy boats into unsinkable arcs. By the time the flood subsided, Zeeks was drenched, exhausted, and absolutely starving. Do heroes get free lunch? He joked, as people cheered and called him their savior. Among those who heard about Zeeks was Evelyn Castor, the daughter of the world's wealthiest family. Evelyn was no spoiled heiress. She was sharp, driven, and dedicated to charity work. Intrigued by Zeke's story, she decided to meet him. Their first encounter was, well, awkward. Evelyn hosted a grand charity gala, and Zeke's, who had never worn anything fancier than a flannel shirt, showed up in borrowed clothes, 2 sizes too big. Nice suit, Evelyn said, stifling a laugh. Thanks, it's vintage. As in, my uncle's from the 90s, Zeeks replied, grinning. Their banter turned into hours of conversation. Evelyn was charmed by Zeke's wit and humility, while Zeeks was smitten by her brilliance and beauty. But just as sparks flew, disaster struck again. A wildfire was tearing through the forests of Arden, threatening villages and wildlife. Evelyn insisted on joining Zeeks, despite his protests. This isn't exactly a first date kind of thing, Zeeks said. Saving the world beats dinner and a movie, Evelyn shot back, already packing supplies. Together they tackled the crisis. Zeeks fortified fire breaks and strengthened water pipelines, while Evelyn coordinated rescue teams and distributed aid. At one point, Zeeks tried to carry a massive water tank on his back, only for Evelyn to quip, "You're strong, but not that strong. Use your hands, genius." By the end of the ordeal, the fire was out, the villages were safe, and Zeeks realized that Evelyn wasn't just a brilliant partner. She was his equal. Their budding romance wasn't without challenges. Evelyn's father, Vincent Castor, was a stern billionaire who didn't trust Zeeks one bit. Strengthening things with a touch sounds like a magic trick, Vincent said, narrowing his eyes. It's real, Zeeks replied, holding up his hands. And no, I don't do birthday parties. Despite his humor, Vincent remained skeptical. What if your powers fail? What if you're not who you claim to be? Evelyn jumped in. He's already saved countless lives, Dad. Isn't that proof enough? Vincent grumbled but said nothing more. Ziks's ultimate test came when a catastrophic earthquake struck the continent. Cities crumbled, tsunamis loomed, and chaos spread like wildfire. It was the kind of disaster that could break even the strongest heroes. Ziks and Evelyn sprang into action. While Evelyn coordinated international aid, Ziks moved from city to city, reinforcing buildings, bridges, and dams. At one point, he stood before a collapsing skyscraper filled with people and a dam that, if breached, would flood entire villages. "Which one do I save?" he whispered, panic gripping him. Evelyn's voice crackled through his communicator. "You save both! You're Ziks!" With newfound determination, Ziks devised a plan. He stabilized the dam, then raced to the skyscraper, using his power to hold it steady while rescuers evacuated the trapped people. By the end of the ordeal, he was battered, bruised, and still cracking jokes. "Anyone else feel like this week's been a little stressful?" he quipped, collapsing onto a bench. A love that inspired the world. Evelyn's father finally came around after witnessing Ziks's unwavering determination. "You've earned my respect," Vincent admitted. "But if you hurt my daughter, no power in the world will save you." "Noted," Ziks replied, grinning. Ziks and Evelyn's love story became a global sensation. Together, they founded the Evelyn Ziks Foundation, dedicating their lives to disaster relief, environmental conservation, and empowering underprivileged communities. Ziks never sought fame or fortune, but his name became a beacon of hope. His journey proved that even the simplest of dreams, when combined with courage, love, and a touch of humor, could change the world. And in the night sky, a constellation shaped like a glowing hand now shines, a reminder of Ziks, the man who turned strength into love and made the world believe in heroes again. Write prompts for all the scenes of this story.